Christmas in Germany is like no other, and Christmas markets is something everybody has to experience at least once in their life, if not as many times as you possibly can. So I'm gonna tell you all the things that you need to know about Christmas markets in Germany. We're gonna go over what to pack, what you need to know, tips and tricks, and of course, my personal favorite, what are the best Christmas markets that you should go to. So let's dive in. So what is a Christmas market? Let me paint this picture for you. Wooden stalls lined up, twinkling Christmas lights. There's like the stalls with the twinkle lights and then Christmas decorations, right? And they're walking through and you'll see like hand-carved wooden goods. Another section of like leather belts and leather goods. You have a clock maker, a baker, a candlestick maker. I mean, it's all there. And the food. We'll get there in a second. But the food. Sometimes there's medieval markets, so they're all dressed up how they did way back then. Some knights in armors, and you have like a open fire and an iron grate and selling herbs, and they're just all in their garb, and you can hear the music. There's music everywhere. Oh, it's amazing. So when should you go to Christmas markets? Well, typically it starts at the end of November, so the last week of November around like the 24th, and then they go into Christmas. However, I've noticed it has been getting a little bit earlier as the years have been going on, depending on the location, but that is a good rule of thumb. The end of November until Christmas. The best time to go, in my opinion, is the first week. The first week the Christmas markets are opening, it is gonna be busy. Let me say this one more time. It is going to be busy. There's so many people, and you never see that on the Instagram. You never see it. It can get really packed. So have that expectation in mind. It is still magical and it's still incredible. But maybe if you're like an introvert like me, you have like a social battery you have to worry about. Plan in lots of like little stops. Go to a cafe. Go take breaks and then go back to the Christmas market. It's totally worth it. But another way you can beat the rush is you can go at the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Do know that in Germany, everything closes at random times. If you're traveling around on a Sunday or Monday, a lot of stores and restaurants are closed. So just keep that in mind. But you can go at the beginning of the week or you can go in the first week that they open. But just keep in mind, they will still probably be busy. Now where to go? What Christmas markets are you going to go to? So first off, I'm going to start off with Nuremberg. For all of my Germans, I'm so sorry if I pronounce that wrong. Nuremberg. Nein. Nuremberg. Anyway, it is probably one of the most famous Christmas markets in Germany. It's really popular for the Christkind ceremony and really famous for their Schmalzkuchen, which is like gingerbread. So I'm going there this year and I'm gonna get all the little gingerbreads and I can't wait. So if you are in South or you're close to Munich, it's like you gotta go and see that. Or on the other hand, I would say Cologne is huge as well. The cathedral is gorgeous and the market is right around the cathedral. Actually, most cities have more than one market. So it's never just one in Cologne, one in Berlin, and one in Hamburg. You're gonna have multiple markets throughout the city. But I would say that is a very epic, very big, very grand Christmas market. However, let me just note, a lot of the bigger Christmas markets are commercial. They're commercialized, so you'll see a lot of the same stands, and sometimes if you go to different locations, it'll be some of the most similar things. But of course, you should visit them. Like, for example, Dresden is the oldest Christmas market in Germany and has so much history as well. It's super incredible and it's also large. However, I don't think that one is as commercial anyway. But my point is if you're gonna go to the big ones, make sure you go to the small little Christmas markets as well. Try to take a little day trip outside of the city or purposely just go to the small ones. That's my favorite ones to do. So you have so many different regions that you can go to. and that you can visit. I personally think the most beautiful Christmas market of the north is Bremen, hands down. The gold little trim on the buildings, the fairy tale. I live near the fairy tale route of Germany, and so you can go to different towns and cities where the fairy tales were born. And Bremen has an incredible fairy tale where you have to touch a statue for good luck. And I don't know, there's just something super magical about the city. And they also have a pirate Christmas market. How can you miss that? Then you go over to another of my favorite it's a little Christmas market, Schwerin. It has a gorgeous castle. It's like one of my favorite castles in Germany. And then you walk a little bit ways and you can walk through the old town and go through the Christmas market. It has a Ferris wheel and a little ice skating rink. And then you head over to Lüneburg, which is just an incredibly beautiful city as well. And it's small and it's quaint. And that one also has a medieval market. And you can go to the top of a water tower and look out, or you can go to the Harz region, which is honestly one of my favorite parts of Germany, and that's more central, but part of it is still in the north. Part of it is still in Lower Saxony, like Goslar, or Wernigerode, or Quellenberg, which is just this birthplace in this mountain of all these different story tales and all this just waters and small little mountains, but really cute, really magical. I mean, fairy tale. If you're thinking fairy tale cities, then the Harz region, Christmas markets in the Harz is the way to go. But also, you have down south, you have the really beautiful big Alp mountains and that scenery. You can go throughout more of like southern Germany and even over to southwestern Germany where the Black Forest. But of course everybody knows about the Black Forest, but inside of the Black Forest is a cute little town where they make cuckoo clocks. And next is the Mosel Valley, which I absolutely love. The Mosel region is like the wine region of Germany, which I don't know if you knew that, but there is. And they have this river called the Rhine River. Sorry, my American accent. And you can even sometimes take little riverboat cruises, depending, because it's winter, and travel through the Rhine and get off at different towns and different locations. I mean, imagine just seeing a castle on a rooftop off in the distance with like wine, what do you call them? Wineries. Oh, I almost forgot. There's Württemberg up der Taube. It is one of the most touristy towns in Germany for a reason. Touristy is okay. There's usually a reason for it. As long as you just blend it up, you gotta go. It has one of the very few enclosed cities of Germany where they still have the fortress walls around the city. And then you can go up on the wall and just kind of like walk the perimeter of this just medieval town with a medieval town square. And sometimes they have people dressed up walking, marching and singing throughout the streets. And then there's a Christmas market. They have Christmas stores and Christmas museums. It is just like Christmas to the extreme. You gotta go. And I'm going to this year too. I'm so excited. All right, what do you eat? Let's get into it. First off, mushrooms. I'm gonna tell you, nobody talks enough about these German mushrooms and they are delicious. I'm a little biased. I live in the Hanover region. Well, I'm gonna be moving out of that region. But anyway, I'm in Hanover. Best mushrooms are in Hanover, hands down. It is a cart right outside of the Hauptbahnhof and it's delicious. It's the best mushrooms you'll ever have. Get a little bit of garlic sauce on it. Perfection. Next thing. You need to have, I already talked about it, Handbrot, handmade bread with the cheese, melty, baked in the oven, delicious. Eat that. Also, I forgot what it's called. The thing, it's like a roll, and then it's like dough. I'll look up the word later. And they roast over fire, and then you can choose if you want cinnamon or sugar on it. Incredible! And actually different regions call it different things, so that can be confusing. You have to get a bratwurst, of course, and my personal favorite is from Thuringia. So if you can get a Thuringia bratwurst, then you need to get that. And then thank me later. Plenty of Senf on there too. They will roast them over these huge grates with all sorts of different sausages and like pig fillets and all sorts of different things. It's gonna be great. Then you have Schmalzkuchen. They're like little doughs cut up into squares. and then fried, and then tossed in powdered sugar, and they give you a little picker, and you eat them, and it's simple and delicious. Have to have it. Also, Kartoffelpuffer, which is like a potato pancake, and when they are handmade, they are life-changing. They grate the potato, mix it with onions and different spices, flour, and then they fry it, and sometimes they top it with applesauce or like a little bit of sugar. So good! Of course, you have to have things like the honey roasted nuts and things like that. You'll have a honey roasted nut cart, gingerbread cart, cookies and cake. They have like all sorts of different things where you can put like meat inside of buns. That was like absolutely incredible. I haven't had in Goslar. Then for drinks, you have Glühwein, which is mulled wine, hot warmed wine. Hot, warm alcoholic beverage. And I love their Kinderpunsch, which is like what the kids have. It is just hot mixed juice punch, but it's good. And you get a cute little mug that you can actually keep. You will pay a fund, which is a deposit, like usually like €1 or 2. It's like not crazy. And then if you bring back your cup, you get your money back. If you want to keep your cup, you get a nice little souvenir. Oh, and if you have, I can't remember what it's called, but it's really popular that to get Glühwein and then put a little shot of extra something in there for you. So you might want to ask about that. What to buy? Gift-wise, especially if you're taking it back home, but just in general, I highly recommend like anything like a handmade wooden anything. I recommend for sure like a handmade wooden German ornaments. Those are great, and I always like I get them like as a tradition to pass on throughout the years, of course, because you know it's like a gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it means a lot. Also, I could recommend anything chocolate. All candy, but anything chocolate or like gummy bears or any of those things, I would definitely take those back. There's beautiful traditional Christmas decorations that you could also bring back with you. But honestly, I would do something that's going to be quality that will last like a really long time. And I also have an entire YouTube video of all of the gifts that I love to bring from Germany. So if you want to check that out, you can do that as well. Also, marzipan. It is super popular, super regional too, especially if you're in the north. So I recommend bringing marzipan as well. All right, next, how do you pack for your visit? It's called the onion method. And you gotta dress like an onion in layers, baby. We're talking something like this, like a thermal, a sweater over it, and then like a larger puffer jacket. It's all about layers so that you can just strip them on and off. Depending on the region, it will either be snowing, or it could be really bright and very cold, and also it could just be randomly raining. It's always fluctuating like that. So you just want to make sure that you have layers, that you're going to be warm, wool socks, sturdy boots, cobblestones, wet slippery things, all sorts of different types of terrain, and gloves, hat, scarf, everything that you can just take on and off and layer it up. Secondly is bring cash. If you can, prepare beforehand and go through your bank and get, you know, just a little bit of cash coins would be even nice, because you might need those right away and you can avoid really high exchange rates. But just know Germany is all cash. Make sure you always have cash on you, especially if you're at the markets, because a lot of the vendors will only take cash. Another packing tip, they don't give out plastic bags in Germany. They use reusable tote bags all the time. You can either wait, but that's also a really nice like thing to get while you're here and just to keep with you, is just a reusable tote. If you're from the US, we're just using a car for everything. It is all of the walking in Germany, especially if you're going to be using public transport, wanting to catch a train. Make sure you're wearing those comfortable shoes and that you have a nice crossbody bag that will keep all of your like really essentials close to you. Public transport is great. Get familiar with public transport and you can just bop around to all sorts of little villages outside of the big cities. Easy, no problem. I also have a video on taking public transport in Germany as well if you want to take it. Just go through that before you visit if you want. But there's all sorts of different types of deals and visits. Also, this is a hot water bottle. And I would highly recommend bringing one. You don't have to bring a big one like Monica here. I have a travel one. But it's just really nice whenever you're traveling and it's really cold out to have something nice and warm, or even just in your hostel or in your hotel to keep you nice and cozy. I recommend that. Also, electronic hand warmers are really nice too. I actually have an entire free Christmas packing list that you can just download. I'll link it below. Completely free, and it just has all the things that I personally use, like my travel anti-theft backpack, my hand warmers, and all the things that are kind of important to me. Are Christmas markets expensive? I think, at least compared to the US, that just in general things are remarkably cheaper. But of course they can get really pricey because a lot of the things are just handmade, excellent quality. But of course, there is absolutely a way just to travel on a budget, especially if you want to get just to get food and just a little trinkets. You can absolutely do that without breaking the bank. But if you want some quality things, just like how it goes, you might spend a pretty little penny. But in general, I think it's a lot cheaper. Are Christmas markets family friendly? Absolutely. Absolutely. I just feel like in general, Germany is so family and dog friendly too. You just have to kind of check the area with the dogs. But absolutely, they get kids everywhere. Kids are just sitting at the beer gardens next to their parents drinking apple juice with bubbly water while their parent is drinking, Glühwein or a beer or something. Are they wheelchair accessible? I would say that Germany is progressing in that area, of course, but it can get tricky because it's just so busy. But I would say in general that they are wheelchair friendly, but there are a lot of laws and regulations in Germany, so you shouldn't have a problem when it comes to that. Lastly, some inside tips and tricks. Pace yourself. Really, you don't want to spend most of your trip just trying to get to the next location. Make sure that you schedule your trip to where you have enough time to really enjoy the stops that you're going to. And honestly, I know it's so hard, especially if you're not traveling in Germany, especially if you don't live in Germany, you're traveling all the way here, you want to see as much as you can, but you don't want to remember your trip of how exhausted and how much you were on the go. So just stick to a region, or just stick to an itinerary that gives you enough time to actually enjoy it. All right? And I already said it once, but go local. Smaller, in my opinion, is always better. And I absolutely love it because you really feel the most authentic part of Germany when you go a little bit out of the cities or just dive into an area that is kind of off the beaten path. Tip on taking pictures. The light will be best kind of at dusk because there's a soft glow behind the buildings, and then you can also transition into nighttime photos, which is also incredible too. And that's what you need to know about Christmas markets in Germany. So again, if you want a free packing list, it's going to be in my captions below. Also, you can check out my other videos like public transport in Germany or just some of the cities that I've visited and I just really like. Make sure you ask me if you have any questions at all, drop them below and I would gladly like to make another video about it. But until then, I hope you enjoyed my video and I wish you all the best with your next visit to Christmas markets in Germany. I'm personally doing a solo female Christmas market backpacking tour this year. So if you're on my Instagram, you'll see a lot of the live stories and updates on that where I'll be sharing my tips and tricks. And also I have something really, 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 really big planned for next year, but I can't quite share it with you yet. But big things are happening. So click subscribe, follow, ask me questions, do all the things. And thank you so much for being here and sharing with my love of Christmas markets. Until next time, cheers!